Satnam, everyone. Welcome. Salima here. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm a yoga therapist. And if you've been around before, you know that our channel is dedicated to helping you live your best life with the practice and the medicine of Kundalini Yoga. It's a pleasure to be here today. This question about what is Kundalini meditation and how do I do a 40-day practice comes directly from all of you out there. So thank you very much for participating and sending me your shout outs, sending me emails, and dropping comments down here in the chat. It's very helpful and it allows me to really swing this content so that it's exactly what you're looking for and what you need to take your next steps with your practice. Okay, so let's jump right in. First of all, let's start with the beginning in terms of defining certain terms that you might have heard here on the channel or things that you might have heard in other areas of study in your life. Number one, in order to understand what Kundalini meditation is, let's break down Kundalini, Kundalini Yoga, meditation, and then put them all together to understand what is Kundalini meditation. Okay, so that's our starting point. And then you want to hang on till the end because I'm going to drop off really good tips on how to establish your meditation practice. And then what are the best tips and techniques I have for you to do your 40-day practice. Okay, so hang on till the end. We'll get there eventually. All right, starting with the beginning. What is Kundalini? Kundalini is the energy of consciousness. It is awareness. The old and sacred text depict it as a coiled snake at the base of the spine. And that's really a symbol, a way of thinking about that particular kind of energy. And this is raising Kundalini is really a slow and gradual, lifelong process. It's not a one and done. And if it is, it can be disconcerting for the person who experiences it. So think about Kundalini as consciousness. And consciousness is really the base and the root of Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness. This is the style of practice that brings you closer to who you really are, to your Satnam, to create a connection between our finite selves, flesh and blood, the thinking mind, the beating heart, and all that is around us, the creative force, the source of all creation. So that's really the purpose and the reason for Kundalini Yoga. And if you're a spiritually minded kind of person, this particular style of yoga works really well for someone like you, someone like me. All right, so that's Kundalini Yoga. Now let's talk about meditation. Meditation is very simply the process of observing the mind. And oftentimes when we hear this word, and no thanks to all the content that's out there, we get really caught up in meditation is about removing all thoughts. It's false. Meditation is about observing the thoughts. And what makes it challenging is oftentimes when we have a little bit of time to sit down, we start thinking and those thoughts become distracting. And really what meditation asks us to do is to observe our thoughts in the present moment. The present moment is relatively safe. So here's a little tip. When you are feeling regret, that means you're living in the past. And if you're feeling fear, it means you're living in the future. And what meditation offers us is opportunities to be here, present, physically aware of the body, mentally aware of the mind, and open to what's happening in the heart. And when we have that understanding, it makes it much easier to understand the purpose of meditation. We're not sitting down to meditate to get better at meditation. We're sitting down to meditate to get better at life. Because when things come to us and we react to challenges rather than to take decisive action, we get caught up in emotions. We get caught up in our thinking and what could fail and how things could be harmful, rather than looking at opportunities and the joy of learning. So that's really what meditation does. There are hundreds of different schools of meditation, many different styles. Many have set ways to meditate, and we'll cover all of that in just a moment while I start to introduce you to what Kundalini meditation is. So let's go back to the idea of Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness, And through this practice, we observe and practice many other forms of yoga within the practice. So stick with me. There's a few different elements to understand here. Kundalini Yoga involves mantra, which is the yoga of sound. It involves breath work, which is the yoga of breathing, also called pranayama. There is devotional aspects. That's a form of yoga. There's meditative aspects. That's a form of yoga. And then the movements themselves, that's a form of yoga. So together, these 5 or 6 or 7 or oftentimes 8 different styles of yoga now come together in this particular practice. What I think makes Kundalini meditation and Kundalini yoga quite different from other styles of practice is that the meditation is always required. In other words, it's embedded into the practice. It's not a nice to have, it's not maybe I'll add, this is part of the practice. So it's part of the formula that makes up the medicine that helps all of us feel so good and so relaxed and so calm, is that all those pieces really create a powerhouse of understanding, awareness, patience, knowledge, and all of those kind of higher level type of thinking. Okay, so that's one piece that makes Kundalini yoga quite different. Now, Kundalini meditation. As broad and as vast as the world of Kundalini yoga is, so is the world of Kundalini meditation. And again, what makes this very different is that Kundalini meditations have a very distinctive style. Let me compare and contrast. There are meditation forms and types that involve sitting silently and focusing just on the breath. Now, this is a really great style of meditation, but for a beginner, this can be the most challenging. In fact, arguably, and I would argue that this is probably the most challenging, to just sit and allow the mind to be open. What's different about Kundalini Yoga is that there are many, many different things to focus on. Number one, you could be focusing on the breath. Number two, you could be holding your hands in a specific position. And those allow the mind to train itself and to be very focused on a particular aspect. Others focus on breath work, so very distinctive breathing patterns, 4 sniffs in and 4 sniffs out, for example. And all of these different elements, the breath, the mantra, the mudra, and the breathing, all create a little window for the mind to look through. So rather than seeing an entire house, there's a very narrow vision of what's here to focus on. So those elements are something that you can think about. Next, in the world of Kundalini meditation, every meditation is for a specific purpose, not just to meditate, not just to sit quietly, but perhaps you want to heal a broken heart. Maybe you want to come into a greater sense of trust or self-love, or maybe it's prosperity you're looking for, or a next opportunity, or. And you get my point. There are many, there are literally thousands, all connected to a different kind of an intention. And I know for myself, when I know that I'm working towards a goal or I've set an intention, it's much easier to stay on track. So that's what makes Kundalini meditation so specific, so unique, and also much easier to accomplish. Now, here's the best part. All of this can be done in just about 3 minutes. It takes about 3 minutes for the blood, the circulatory system, the cells within us, the heartbeat to start to register that something new and unique is starting to take place. That's it, that's all. So your beginning place is 3 minutes, not 20 minutes, not 15 minutes, not 2 hours, just 3 minutes. And most of us, I say most of us, can sit for 3 minutes and at least do the gist of the meditation and be focused enough to start to feel the results. So that's the benefit and the beauty of Kundalini meditations. They're very powerful, they're very focused, and they're very goal-oriented. Okay, so that's the meditation in a nutshell, breaking it down for you so that you have a little clearer sense of what makes Kundalini meditations different from other schools and ways of meditating. All right, so that's one piece. Number two, how do I meditate? How do I establish my meditation practice? Here are 5 tips. Number one is to choose your location. The body works best in repetition and routine. So when you have a certain corner in your house that you go to sit quietly and to meditate or be creative or do the dishes or cook dinner or sleep, you usually go to the same place. Think about your meditation practice in the same way. So you choose a location that you know that you will feel safe and secure and relatively uninterrupted. A closed door might help. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on who you live with. So that's the first thing, pick a location. Number two is pick a time of day, a time where your body can start to relax. So for some of you, if you're a morning person, that's a great time because you're alert and you're ready and you're awake. And for others, maybe it's midday because that's what your schedule allows, or maybe it's the end of the day. And that's when you're more alert and where meditation makes a little bit more sense because you're really trying to filter the mind. So it doesn't matter what time of day you choose, whatever works best. I always say when you have time, that's the time. And not to force anything or to create a new habit by waking up early or staying up too late, rather to work with the rhythm of your day as it stands right now. Okay, so that's number two. Start in small chunks. So remember, for a Kundalini meditation, you just need to start with 3 minutes. There's no need to go on to no need to establish in your first few times of meditating 20 minutes or half an hour or more than that. Start small. In fact, when I started, I just went with 1 minute. So you have license now to create for yourself a practice that you can really establish and stick to. Small chunks are great. And as you build your muscle, your meditation muscle, then continue on, then move up your time, maybe go to 5 minutes or 11 minutes, or reach a little further into a 31-minute practice. Not necessary, but a way to explore and to build yourself up a little bit more. Okay, remember that your mind will wander. That's it, that's all. Please accept that as being part of the practice. That some days you'll sit down and 3 minutes will pass in the blink of an eye and you won't even notice and you might want to sit for longer. And other times it will be challenging. It will be challenging when there's noise coming from upstairs or another room in the house. It'll be challenging when you've got a pressure or a deadline to meet. It'll be pressure if there's some emotional thing going on. Stick with it and know that your mind will wander. That's what it's designed to do. There's no trickery here. There's nothing about shutting down your thoughts. It's rather to say, okay, what am I thinking? Where is it leading me to? Where did that come from? I'm thinking. And to be kind, to be polite, to be gentle, and to notice. Simply observe. The times when it will get more complicated is when you start thinking about your thinking thoughts. And that's what I offer to you as an opportunity to say, okay, I'm not concentrating right now. Let me go get a drink of water. Let me take a little walk. I'll come back or do some frog squats. For those of you who've been on this channel for a while, do a little bit of preparatory work for your body and then come back to it. Okay, so there's no harm done. There's always a do-over. It's a process. And remember that the process may show you lots of other little things that you can start tweaking in your life. Maybe there's a habit that you'd like to let go of. Maybe there's a different way you can cook dinner so that you're ready for bed earlier so that you can get to your meditation. There are lots of wins here. A lot of them will come after meditation, after a couple of days of creating this habit and being in a new frame of mind. So give yourself that opportunity to enjoy the process. For a lot of you who have written in, what you've said right off the bat is, I'm more calm at home. I have more patience for my family, or I'm more calm when I'm in traffic and I can handle the stress of my demands at work a little bit better. And those are all great signs. And by the way, did you know that meditation has been now verified by science to have physiological benefits, lower blood pressure, lower heart rate, lower blood sugar, more calm, better sleep, able to lose weight. All of these things become a little bit easier when we're not at war with ourselves and we can actually allow the mind to run free and not chase after it. Okay, so now the final part of this practice and the piece that hopefully you've been holding on for. How do I establish my 40-day practice? What do you even mean, Salima, by a 40-day practice? Okay, so here it is. I'm going to bust up all the myths. Kundalini as a medicine, Kundalini Yoga as a medicine is taken best, has best results when you practice one single Kriya, one single meditation. In other words, one video for 40 days in a row. I know. What? I like all the variety. I love going to your channel and seeing all these different things and all these different places that I can explore. I know, I get it. It's a practice of yoga is really different from being on YouTube and looking for information, or being on TikTok and scrolling, or being on Instagram and scrolling. Yoga is not an entertainment. You are the entertainment. So when you choose based on your inner feeling, or even a numerology consult with me, what you're doing is focusing your energy. What you're doing is making a commitment. What you're doing is dedicating 3 to 5 to 30 minutes a day in order to feel yourself grow, to learn, and to change. It's a very powerful impact. So I want to say that again. Choose one Kriya, one video. Pick the one that speaks to your heart, not necessarily the one you like, not necessarily the one that is easiest or shortest, but rather one that calls your attention. In other words, your intuition calls you into that video. I wonder what this is about. And that's where your eureka moments exist. Now, one more piece about this. You're practicing for 40 days. So you want to mark it in your calendar and then mark out the end so that you really watch that process. Journal each day, notice what's happening, and remember that you're going to get bored. It's the same video, same timing, same commercials, same sounds, same thoughts. And remember that it's not entertainment. This is about your growth and learning and opportunity. And the body works best in repetition and routine. So that's why a 40-day practice is really the beginning of the deepening of your practice. One landmark is 40 days. The next one is 90 days, then 120 days. And then you can go as far as 1,000 days or continue to practice for the course of your lifetime. I've done Kirtan Kriya myself for 1,000 days, very beneficial. When you practice for 1,000 days, you become the master of that. So in other words, I'm here in a place of mastery because I dedicated 31 minutes every day for 1,000 days to my personal practice. I can't even begin to describe what the benefits have been, but let's put it this way. Had I not done it, I probably wouldn't be here in front of you today. So I know from my own life experience that this is a very powerful way to understand yourself, to dedicate yourself, and also to explore the teachings in a more profound way. All right. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell. What is Kundalini? What is Kundalini Yoga? What is meditation? What is Kundalini meditation? How do I set myself up for success? And now, how do I commit to a 40-day practice? All rolled up into one session. I want to thank you all for being with me today. Thank everybody out here who's been commenting. Thank you, Christine. I see you there. Loretta's there. Karen's here. Vanessa's here. Charles is here. Thank you all very much for being part of the conversation. Remember, if you like what we're doing here, hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when we go live next. And know that there's more content, more videos always in the works. And the more that you like it and share it, the more we can come back to you with content like this. One more thing, if you're still not sure where to start with your practice, send me an email, love.yogavision@gmail.com. Let's set up a numerology consult, and then you and I can really discuss what's the best practice for you based on your date of birth. Lots more information on that on my website, yogavision.com. Once again, my name is Salima, yoga therapist, and to all of you out there, keep your questions coming. I love hearing from you. And until we meet again, Sat Nam.